So I decided to re-record this just because the way I originally did this video, it just kept dragging out. So I want to do this as quickly as I can, but I want to hit the points that I want to hit. Conor McGregor has retired yet again. Is this the fifth retirement, sixth retirement, seventh? Who knows? But we're gonna basically read what he said. I'm gonna go through his career, and the biggest things I want to talk about is how he affected the lightweight division and how not having Conor there for this upcoming TV rights deal could hinder the UFC. Also could help them. But without further ado, let's get into it and kind of crunch on time. So, um, I'm not going to read the entire article, but basically what they go on to say is Conor hasn't fought since 2021. We know the 48 fight, and he's been focusing on a run for the Irish presidency amid the scandal. But he said, "I've got two fights on the contract. I'm in negotiations." He told the press when asked about a potential move to the squared circle. Oh my! He said last week something happened to me. I went to the White House, and my heart bleeds for my country right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on back home. I'm happy with what I've done. There's something else for me that's in my gut right now, and that's kind of where I'm going. The former lightweight and featherweight champ will what turn 37 this July, and in the unlikely case that he ran and won for the Irish presidency, would enter into a 7-year term. I didn't know, but okay. So the point I want to weigh out here before I forget. So we're gonna go through Conor's record. We're gonna go through how he affected the lightweight division and consistently affected the division for 10 years without even being in the division as well. We gotta talk about the TV rights too. I'm gonna get into that first. So, kind of my thoughts with why Connor hasn't been as active. One, when you look at when he came back at 2021, and the whole world was in lockdown. I think that was partially one of the reasons he was out because they want the gate with Connor. You look at what 303 was, which we're going to get to. Connor fights are massive. Now, when you go into a negotiation for TV rights deal, we have ESPN, we have Netflix, which there's been a lot of talk lately about Netflix, and I've made a few videos on the Netflix thing, but I'm waiting until more concrete stuff comes out. But if you're Dana White in the UFC, you gotta be thinking, yeah, we got Connor right now. We've had him for the past, however many years. You've had the Chandler fight prepped, promoted, and ready since 2022, and they only got pen to paper once in 2024, which was for an international fight weight, and it didn't happen. And then you lost out on Michael Chandler, another big name at lightweight. So you look at the UFC right now, you look at the events we have, you look at what the champions we have. The UFC is in a rough spot when going into these negotiations, and it has to go for so many reasons. But I want to move over to Connor's record. I do this with basically every fighter I bring up. I had to go through their record just so I understand who somebody means to the company, who somebody means to the sport. So Connor, his career starts in 2007 at one amateur bout. He was a TKO win over Kieran Campbell. But he starts his career 4-1. The infamous video where he's 4-1 and he'll be in the UFC someday. Everybody's seen it. Lost his next fight against Joe Duffy, which is kind of ironic. Then goes on a how many fights is this? One, two, three, four, five, six fight TKO streak. All of them early. Submits Dave Hill for the Cage Warriors belt with a rear naked choke. Defends it against Ivan Berchinger, and then debuts in 2013 against Marcus Scrimmage, getting a first round TKO and a fight of the night bonus. Then he fights a young Max Holloway in 2013, goes to a decision, wins it by unanimous decision. Really good one to have on your record. Now, this is obviously Max Holloway before he became champion Max Holloway, number one contender Max Holloway. But then you look at the fights after. First round TKO Diego Brandio. First round TKO a young Dustin Poirier, who came in really hot into that fight and, you know, was angry with Connor. This is what basically started the rocket ship that was Connor Mania. Next fight, second round TKO Dennis Silver. The Chad Mendes fight, where Chad Mendes did give him a bit of issues, gets it done in the second round. You also down the fact that it was for an interim belt. It was supposed to be Jose Aldo. The infamous, and once again, every clip with Connor is infamous, okay? There's no way around it. Um, Dana White tells him Jose is injured. He tells him, just tell me who I'm fighting on that date. Goes in, TKO's Chad Mendes. Then he gets the Aldo match. Aldo being undefeated for 10 years. In many people's eyes, one of the greatest, well, no, one of the greatest featherweights of all time. The conversation is him, Max Holloway, Volkanovski. 13 seconds. That's all it took him. Boom, knocked out Aldo, took the 10-year streak, got the featherweight belt. Then he gets himself into a fight with Nate Diaz. You know, the infamous Nate Diaz isn't a needle mover and all this stuff. Gets submitted in the second round. Still, two of the biggest fights that ever happened were supposed to happen in July. Rematch in August. He wins by majority decision. Then he goes on, fights Eddie Alvarez, never defending the featherweight belt, never giving Jose Aldo a rematch after being undefeated for 10 years, but wins the lightweight belt. And then you have the biggest star, the first simultaneous champion in UFC history. What does he do with it? Um, Nothing. But then it gets announced UFC after never co-promoting Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. And this is where many people, including myself, believe that Conor went downhill. He made $100 million for this fight after being on welfare. He was on welfare in those Cage Warriors days. Makes it to the biggest fight you can get. Looked really good. Got TKO'd in the 10th round though. Not bad for a sport that you're doing for the first time against one of the greatest to ever do it. Then he comes back against Khabib. Now, this is the biggest pay-per-view of all time. The biggest fight of all time. Khabib won the belt, I think, at 223 against Alex Quinta. All I remember is that it was Madison Square Garden. You get the Charlie incident where he throws the Charlie into the bus, injuring fighters, attacking Khabib, and we're gonna get to Khabib in his career. So they get to the fight after so much hatred, after everything that Connor said. Connor had like one okay round where I guess you could have gave it to him, but Khabib basically demolished him as he did with everybody else, knocked him down even, beat him on the feet, and then submitted him in the fourth round. Then Conor McGregor leaves. Khabib is now the champion. Khabib is now the star of the UFC. And these two fights I feel are like what really changed Conor. And you have to factor in 2018 what happened then. The Nikita hand case. Allegedly. So Dustin fight in 2019 gets announced January 18th. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy's a big name. Giving Cowboy payday, even though apparently he only made 200K for the fight. Knocks him out first round, the shoulder shots, but that was Cerrone about to go off a cliff, and we know how his career ended. Still, was an impressive win. Impressive to see Conor do that. Then we don't see him until 2021 in January against Dustin Poirier, the rematch. You know, the fight that really started Mystic Mac. Conor McGregor made his first prediction against Dustin Poirier, but he's really nice in this fight. You know, complimenting Dustin Poirier on his style, his success, his hot sauce, his family. Then they get into the cage. Conor looks good for the first bit. Then Dustin Poirier basically took over. TKO's him in the second round. Okay, first time Connor's knocked out. Been on a couple layoffs. Let's do the rematch, July. This time we get an angry Connor. Connor going for blood. I'm in your wife's DMs. And then he pretty much got dominated the first round. Connor's best rounds are the first few rounds. If he doesn't have a good round one or a good round two, he's not winning the fight. I'm sorry. That's not how Conor ever worked. But that's how Conor went out. That injury. Then the Michael Chambers are all tough in 2023. Maybe Madison Square Garden 2023. No. Alright. International Fight Week? Okay, Colt 2024. Done. Oh, Connor's injured? Oh, well. Maybe Madison Square Garden or at the end of the year? No. All rumors. 2025 supposed to happen at International Fight Week. Or no, 2025. It was. Or no, I'm tripping. It hasn't been announced yet. But now, I'm sorry. The Chandler saga is way too long to remember. But yeah, the biggest star in the sport fizzled out at the end. The money changed them. There's no way around it. I don't think even the biggest Connor fan won't disagree with that. Let's go get Khabib though. The guy that's tied to Connor. You know, we know the story. Dagestan, Sambo, um, beat to everyone. Submissions, TKO, does what he does, dominates, gets to the UFC in 2012, and goes on to beat, become 13-0 or whatever it was. Beat RDA, beat Dale Horford, beat Michael Johnson. A really good win. By the way, Michael Johnson has a lot of wins over a lot of top guys. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Edson Barboza. He beats another good name. Wins the interim bout after Ally Quinta. Say you have the Conor fight right here at the end of 2017, or early 20. You have it earlier that year. Maybe we see a Khabib with 4, 5, maybe six title defenses. I know he did fight once a year, but maybe we see more fights. That's a big F, with the weight issues that Khabib had in that. But that's only one example. Let's go over to the UFC lightweight ranking. Now, lightweight is the biggest division now. You got the 40 of Makachev, Ruhin, Oliveira, Gaethje is in the mix. Holloway, Poirier is having his retirement. Dan Hooker. Connor held back Chandler the last 2 years. Maybe Chandler fights for the belt again. Maybe Chandler is not even in the top 10. But you look at the movement in lightweight the last few years. You look at the talent that came to the lightweight division after Connor beat Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, Eddie beat Justin Gaethje, but Connor achieved success that nobody else ever will. But he held up a division for over a decade when they never fought in it. I want to stress this too. Connor only has one fight at lightweight. The Eddie Alvarez win. Cowboy fight, welterweight. Both the ass fights, welterweight. He never defended the featherweight belt. Jose Aldo went undefeated for 10 years and didn't get a rematch. Like, and that's one of the privileges a star has. You make more money, you have to fight less. It's simple math. But instead, he went out. He partied. I'm not gonna knock him for it. Because if I was in his situation, maybe I'd do the same. We never know. But it's sad, man. Conor McGregor will always be the biggest star of the UFC ever. Pereira's big. I don't see him getting into Conor's stage. Chaporia, maybe if he knocks out Makachev. I don't see Makachev getting to the Conor status. There will never be a Conor. But that same Conor, the biggest star in the sport, pretty much demolished the most competitive division, the premier division, a historic division for a couple of years. I would have to say it wasn't until like Israel Makhachev's second title defense where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, then this is how the division is now. And you look at everybody there now. Maybe they're not in that spot today. Maybe they would have got there sooner. It's still like that though, but we know that Connor has BKFC. I don't know about this presidential run. We'll really have to watch it. But I think Connor's done for good. I think they will hold the on Connor for the TV rights deal. If he's not going to fight in the UFC, maybe he does one more boxing match or one gimmick fight. I don't see him actually competing against the best in the world, though. I just don't see it happening. Whether it is about him running for president of Ireland, Part of me when the whole lawsuit came out was like maybe he goes has a fight for the press. You know, get in the press, have a press run where you go state to state, you go on ESPN, you go everywhere, and you know present yourself as best you can. But I think that's gone now. I think after he said it now, nobody will believe that he will ever come back to the UFC. And I mean, I don't know. The legacy of Conor is in a weird position. Mike Tyson was in a similar case. He went to prison for it. So we'll really have to see, maybe in the next 3 years, how Conor, how the Conor legacy will fade away. And we know that he'll be in the headlines. I'll probably announce his return in the next few months. But we'll see. Let me know in the comments though. What do you think about Connor coming out and retiring once again? Do you think it's genuine? Do you think he was retired the entire time? Do you think he had any ambition to come back against Michael Chandler? Or do you believe that, he's been gone for this long, and he was never coming back. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Later.